Hello, my name is Juggerbird. Today we're going to be playing one of my favorite games, a game I absolutely love, Stellaris. This will be my first experience with the new DLC, Federations. And so I've gone ahead and I've created a empire here for us and a species, and looked through some of the settings that have changed. Um, and so to start off with, we have our species here. We're called the Juggerbird, very original, I know. The hyphen's going to be important, so it's there for a reason. I didn't misspell my own name. And I took a second to write a short-ish biography for us. I'll go ahead and read that here. The Juggerbird is a large, muscular avian species that thrives on tropical, humid worlds. On average, a Juggerbird will stand about 6 feet tall. Though currently flightless, during this stage of their evolution, large feathers on the undersides of their arms indicate a history of flight. That, coupled with their species-wide sense of wanderlust, suggests a history of nomadic migrations. So, a run-on sentence there. Upon meeting a Juggerbird in person, you will quickly learn two things about them. They are fiercely competitive and intensely loyal. Their society seems built on martial prowess, and their elections are a series of duels with a primitive set of blades. The votes that take place are gladiatorial in nature. Winning over the crowd is as important as defeating your combatant. So, just a little bit about, our species and kind of the culture that they're running from. I wanted to create a species in an empire we're going to join a federation. It's the point of this DLC. I want to join a federation, but I want to be kind of, in a sense, the attack dog, maybe. The ally that is quick to anger, but is loyal to their federation, but won't hesitate to pull out a laser pistol and blow something up if they need to. So it's really just kind of a way to get to that and just kind of hard code that into our species here. Next up is our names list here, just a quick glance. I chose Arthropoid 1 because it gives us names with a bunch of hyphens. Our ship prefix is UJBN, standing for United Juggerbird Navy, because it's our navy that's flying around in our boats there. Next, on to our traits here, just to get a glance. We're strong, of course. We're nomadic, communal. That's kind of like our loyalty, our loyalty to our people, our community. Slow breeders, just to get some negatives in there, and then resilient, because we're protective and defensive and stuff. Next, on to our homeworld here. It's a tropical planet, lots of trees, lots of place to roost, and then from there we kind of just evolved into our upright position that we're standing in here. Our name for our homeworld is Mighty Nest. It's a strong, powerful name, but also our homeworld, our home, our nest. And the name of our star is Warmth Giver, going back to, generations ago when we first discovered that the sun was the sun and not a bright ball of magic in the sky. We're using the avian city appearance, of course, and then our origin, the brand new feature coming in Federations, we're going as the Lost Colony. So this civilization originated as a lost and forgotten colony, separated from its homeworld long ago. The struggling colonists endured many hardships before they were able to build up the necessary technological and industrial base that would allow for return to space. So this gives us an advanced empire of our species somewhere else in the galaxy. I've looked at all of these. They're all very interesting. I guess my biggest gripe is that machine intelligence and hive minds get kind of shafted. They only have really two options, one for each. And, it's hard because then, like, almost all of these have the requirement that you don't have a Gestalt consciousness, which really limits your choices there for your in origin of your species, unfortunately. Prosperous unification being, I believe, basically the general origin that you started with previously. So we're going to be a lost colony. So essentially, our species sent our forefathers out on a colony ship. We colonized this planet we call Mighty Nest. We lost contact with them somehow, and we kind of devolved a little bit, I'm assuming, from spacefaring to now just trying to survive, and then kind of revolved into what we are, our society, our culture changing and shifting as we're on this planet. So that's kind of where I'm at, canonically in my head with this species. Our government, we're very authoritarian, with a little bit of militarist mixed in, and then we're a dictatorial kind of government authority here, making us a martial dictatorship. I really like this because this government is a militaristic form of autocracy, where the warrior, who is considered the strongest leader, rules with absolute power. I like to think that the colony ship crash landed, and people, as soon as we realized we lost contact, people kind of formed into tribes, into people who were loyal to our previous species and government, and people who were angry and mad for being left here. There's probably some wars that happened between these two tribes, and then we kind of the final I guess takeaway is that battling became part of our culture, ingrained in there, which comes through with the warrior culture, giving us duelist jobs and all that. And then cutthroat politics, basically, yes, the strongest one is our leader, but if you kill the leader, or if you take over, if you kill somebody, you can gain their position, that kind of deal there. Advisor voice, I mean, we're going with militarist.
Cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war.
Because I like her and she really fit. Empire name, we've been over. We're the United Juggerbird Empire. Just kind of making more of that canon that we united at one point. We're an empire, and we're going to kind of expand a little bit from there. Then our flag, I like the red and the black, and then this bird really fit perfectly kind of for what I was thinking. Avian ships, and then our ruler, here you can see him. His name is Fa-Ra. I just felt that was kind of fitting, Ra being the Egyptian god of the sun, I believe, if I remember right. Could be wrong. Feel free to correct me on that, but I know he's an Egyptian god. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead. So next step is just to get in on this. So just a quick glimpse at the rules I'm running here. Huge star system. I like having many empires. So you can just kind of look at these numbers here, keeping everything pretty much the same. Crisis strength is a little bit higher. We're playing on captain difficulty. I do have Iron Man mode on. Hopefully that won't be an issue for recording. But I do like to achieve those achievements when I can. But everything should be, for the most part, normal there. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive on into the game here. And we're here. So we have this nice little origin here to read. How exactly the original Juggerbird colonists arrived on the Mighty Nest is poorly documented, but we know they traveled a great distance in primitive starships. Many were lost during the journey, and conditions on the surface of our new homeworld were harsh at first. Famines, wildlife attacks, and countless other challenges were overcome, and eventually the planet was tamed. Surging population numbers and massive construction efforts soon gave us the means to return to the stars. Our old homeworld is still out there somewhere. There are no living Juggerbirds on Mighty Nest old enough to have laid eyes on it, but the fate of our ancestral home still occupies our minds. Perfect. This is just a visual display of our there. So let's go ahead and begin. Game will start pause, which is great. We can kind of get used to this a little bit. We have researches to select here, but you can see here's our home planet there. Cool, we get a nice little buff here, Colonial Spirit, increased happiness by 10%, amenities by 15%, resources from jobs by 15%, and habitability by 10%. Right. Start with the planetary administration, administrative offices, research labs, ally foundries, and civilian industries, of course. We get some districts already built for us. We have some industrial wastelands and sprawling slums to get rid of. Perfect. So let's go ahead and look at our researches, because that'll be kind of important to start here. I am prone to select research speed improvements just to make things come faster later. So probably getting this administrative AI to start, just to increase all of our research by 5% there. For society, let's see, we have monthly unity +2, which is not bad. Increase society research from researchers, or naval capacity from soldier jobs. I think we'll go with the planetary unification. Get the additional edicts in the form of campaigns and the monthly unity increase. And then engineering, so we can increase our engineering research. It's not a bad start. We can also increase our army damage and minerals we gain by 5% from powered exoskeletons. Afterburners I'm not super concerned about right now, so it's really between these two. And I think we'll start with powered exoskeletons to kind of help our economy a little bit. Ooh, let's see, so some new resources up top here that I haven't seen before. We have Empire Sprawl, which just has a new picture. It's the same as before, it looks like. And then we have envoys. Envoys can be sent to other empires for diplomatic tasks, to represent you in the galactic community or to maintain your federation. Alright, in certain civics, buildings, federation perks, and building an interstellar assembly can give you additional envoys. Alright, so I have one available. Naval capacity, starbase capacity. Let's see where we ended up in this galaxy. So we're southwestern hemisphere area, quarter sphere. Not bad. So we have some resources here that we haven't gathered yet. I think we'll spend some of our initial minerals on just getting something built. So let's see if we can find our construction ship. And probably start off with more minerals. And we're still paused. I'll unpause it in a second here. And then get our science ship exploring new systems. So let's go this way. That sounds good. Go ahead and survey that system. And then we'll go ahead and we'll unpause so things can start moving forward here. Unfortunately, we don't have the minerals to build a new building because buildings are expensive. So just be a little bit of time here while we can see our construction ship here making its way downtown to build. And all the plants in the system, because we chose that naming scheme, all the plants in the system have hyphens in them. Not all of them are perfectly English, but it's fine. They have hyphens. You can see, made the jump now to our new system. Oh, and it looks like we have a alpine world here, so it's colonizable, but it's not exactly going to be perfect for us, which is still helpful. Hopefully there'll be some resources here in the long run that we can use. Alright, let's go back to our main area here. We have our navy here. Our starbase. Starbase does have crew quarters. I think if we can get our navy to dock here, enter the orbit of that, maybe. This should reduce upkeep for docked ships. So yeah, now they're green, so now they cost us a little bit less per tick, which is every month, I believe, is when resources tick over.
Construction complete.
Right, so that's constructed now. We just got enough resources to build something else. So let's see, we have 2 sources of engineering research here. Let's build on the bigger one. Energy is fine for now. You don't use energy a whole lot in the beginning. Oh, sweet. A new archaeological dig site has been discovered here in the Troidum system. So once we've successfully surveyed the entire system and then built an outpost here to claim the system, we can use a science vessel to do this archaeological dig. And we have a new contact report on remnants. The United Juggerbird Empire is abuzz with the news of the alien remnants that were recently studied. I assume it's referring to this a little bit. These leavings are considered definitely proof of intelligent, purposeful alien activity at some point in the past. We may still be alone now, but we are at least not the first to be so. Right. And so this archaeological dig is called Moonbump. Even with the naked eye, it is easy to see something highly irregular in the shape of Troidum 2. The smooth curvature of the surface is suddenly interrupted by a gigantic spherical bump. At some point, a moon or larger asteroid collided with the planet, but must have done it in a fairly delicate manner, merely lodging itself in the planet's crust rather than rending it asunder. That's quite interesting. Look forward to figuring out more about that. Meantime here, still building this research station there. We don't quite have enough resources yet to build a building there. You can look at our edicts here. We can use Map the Stars, which will increase our survey speed and anomaly discovery chance, so that might not be a bad choice to just pull that off immediately there. And then we can also look at our traditions. So in 12 months we'll be able to pick a tradition. We'll see when that comes to there. Policies, that's what I was thinking about. So our diplomatic stance is expansionist. So right now we seek to grow peacefully, but we have no specific diplomatic focus. So right now it reduces our outpost build costs and our colony development speed. That's not bad right now. Next we'll probably change it to cooperative. Once we meet some other nations or other empires even, and want to start becoming allies with them. So that's a new one. That's the unrestricted wars. That's fine for now. Orbital bombardment, indiscriminate, sure. Resettlement, of course. Let's have a peaceful first contact. Yes, I can change that for 10 years, that's fine. We'll initially start open, and that's good for now. So our construction ship has finished while I was talking about that. Let's go ahead and go over here, build that. Ooh, red. That's not good at all. 20%.
System survey complete.
Thank you. So habitability for Alpine worlds is only at 20%. So that's really not good. But they have a unique resource. They have the Titanic life forms here, which produces 8 extra society research when you colonize it, but it does reduce the number of available districts by 1. But it's still a rather interesting option. Let's go ahead and let's send you off now to survey this system. Just trying to explore, see what's around us, and kind of grow as we do so. Next we'll send him our constructor. Let's give him a second order just by holding shift and giving the order to build that, to build a mining station here to give us the energy from it, and then we'll be ready to move on from there. Situation log is just showing us our archaeological dig that we can do. So yeah, for sure next we're gonna, sorry about that there, had a bit of a coughing fit. So next for sure we're gonna claim the Troidum system. We might not colonize it now, if ever, but we're gonna claim it so we can use that archaeological dig for sure. Let's see, I want to look at our shipyard so we can build more corvettes. At some point I will change what corvettes look like and what all of our ships look like, but I want to get a little bit more options for the changes that we apply. I think I might build a science ship though. Since we have the alloys, we're not using them until we construct this here. So we'll have time, and it'll just be nice. It'll double our exploration speed there. Ooh, mass extinction. Our first stumbling steps into the void beyond Mighty Nest were not motivated solely by curiosity, or desire to conquer the unknown, or a need to leave our mark on the galaxy. The biosphere of Mighty Nest has undergone rapid changes in the past few centuries, and prominent scientists warn that Mighty Nest may be forced the beginnings of a mass extinction event, or may be faced. Sorry. That cyclical purging of life that is inseparable from planetary existence in the greater cosmos. A research plan has been put together to study a number of planets rendered uninhabitable by major astronomical incidents or planet-bound catastrophes. My reading comprehension is much better than when I'm reading it in my head. We hope that by reconstructing these events, a similar fate may be avoided for Mighty Nest and the Juggabird race. If it falls to you, as Imperator of the United Juggabird Empire, to ensure that this expedition is carried out. Alright.
Situation log updated.
So, to avoid potential apocalypse on the Mighty Nest, we must study the effects of major calamities have had on other planets. We need to find a broken planet, a burned planet, a chilly planet, a desolate planet, and a noxious planet. I think it wants specific planets. You can track this whole thing. And yeah, so it looks like there's one there, one there. There we go. Now they loaded up. So yeah, go to these specific sectors, scan these planets, and that'll give us situations. It'll give us extra research options to do. Our second science ship has been finished, so we have to hire a leader, a scientist, to run it. So let's see, we have Evely, Oka, and Tira. Neither one of these is specifically built for the upgrades they have aren't made for
System survey
exploration.
complete.
So we'll grab the youngest, because they'll be with us the longest. And then we'll send you in the kind of opposite direction here to survey this system. So you finish surveying Nocam. Let's go ahead and survey that. And then, so let's go ahead and pause it. We have a tradition available. So the tradition screen, it's kind of important what order you go in, but it's not entirely. There's diplomacy, discovery, and expansion. So, and all of them have an adoption effect. I always feel like starting with discovery or expansion is good because, early game you kind of want to just explode out as far as you can, claim as much territory as you can. And so I think going with discovery might be the most useful. It'll increase our anomaly research speed. It gives us bonuses for science. Yeah. So let's go ahead and adopt discovery. We're trying to expand here. And that'll help that. Our construction ship is bored now, so we can go ahead and tell them to build a starbase there. That'll claim the system for us. And it'll expand our empire a little bit. So let's see. Early game on this is a bit of waiting, a bit of just kind of slowly expanding, exploring the reaches of your empire. We almost have, I don't need a resource site. We almost have enough resources to build an actually useful building here. Oh, bureaucrats are new. So bureaucrats turn consumer goods into administrative capacity, which is fairly helpful. So we start with a base of 30, and then jobs from our population increase it by 20, giving us a total of 50. Alright, so the month ticked over. I think building the Otto Chithon Monument, it'll consume consumer goods. It'll give us unity in society research. Or we could build civilian industries. Yeah, I think we'll build this, the monument, and then from there we can kind of worry about our resources, because I don't want to spend too much minerals, because that is our main resource for building anything and everything, next to alloys. and you need
Anomaly found.
an anomaly found. Go ahead and research that. That'll be down here in the fuel system. Level 1 anomaly with a level 1 scientist, so it'll take 100 seconds, roughly.
Anomaly found.
And this one is rank 2 with a rank 1 scientist, so it'll take 150. They do scale it. Go ahead and research that. I want to know what it is. So our first one is an asteroid in orbit. Class 12 asteroid orbits this moon. Small planetoid's orbit appears far too stable for its presence to be natural occurrence. Then heavy pulse over here. Lurzuman pulses steadily. It's helioseismology, indicating an internal composition far denser than expected. What could be responsible for this surprising density? So they're just nice little anomalies in space that we weren't expecting, that we can then research together more about them. Alright, and so now we've colonized the sector, you can see that claim this sector. You can see that we can colonize this world, but if we do so right now, it would be a lot of negatives for our people. Amenity usage is up by 80%, upkeep is up by 80%. Resources from jobs is down 40%. Growth speed is down 40%. Alright, so this will be the asteroid, towed asteroid. For some reason, someone has towed an asteroid into a stable orbit around Piolia 4A. The massive engine sections and braking thrusters can still be found on the surface, although they have long since been rendered inoperable. Whoever did this also mined the asteroid for minerals, but these operations were seemingly abandoned shortly after they begun. Let's add 3 engineering research to this planet here. Moon planet thing. See, it has the towed asteroid thing, which gives us society research when we take that, which will be nice. That'll complete soon. And so we're just having our construction ship now collect all these resources here. Get used to that. Our navy really just kind of sits there and does nothing in the beginning. There's not too many threats or anything like that. We could build a couple more ships from our shipyard just to add into it. We have the alloys here. Having 5 ships is better than 3 ships. Walk softly but carry a big stick, some might say. Just to have them in case we run into extraterrestrials that are hostile to us. You can see, there we go. Cosmic Diamond. While on the surface, Lurzuman appears to be an ordinary white dwarf, Star hides an intriguing secret. By studying Lurzuman's pulsations, the UJBN Der Pak crew has discovered its composition to be almost entirely crystallized carbon. This astronomical crystal lattice seems to have formed as the star cooled, originating in its gas-fusing core, growing outward over time. Lurzuman is a diamond of cosmological proportions, glinting behind a white veil of oxygen and helium. So that adds physical research, and he leveled up for doing that, which is great. So that means that everything he does going forward, he'll be faster at, and he'll just be better. And he also has excavation speed increased by 25%. So I think after he's done here, I'll send him here to the archaeological dig.
Construction
and
complete.
Have him perform that once, and so it'll go by faster for him. And I do want to see what that's all about. Once you're done here, our scientist Woka, I want you to go survey this system with our planet in it. Our situation log of mass extinction through the ages. That'll be just nice to...
System survey complete.
There we go. Our Uvko has done surveying that system, so go here and excavate the site. It'll be faster for him to do it. And the difficulty is 3. For those of you that don't know how archaeological digs work, you have It'll be easier to show it when he gets there. So as soon as they get there, and they start doing it, I will show you how it works because it's very interesting. A little random for my liking, but there are ways to stack it, I guess, to make it better. Go ahead and we can remove this industrial wasteland and this industrial wasteland to free up our special special areas, planetary features here, which increase the number of districts we can get for our agricultural and generator districts.
Construction complete.
Alright, so our constructor ship is finished mining all the resources there, so we'll send them down here. We're just going to basically kind of explore or expand behind our research ships and just take over, if I can speak, take over all of our explored resources and just, consolidate and expand and just see what we can find here. It will slow down a little bit as we use one of our scientists on this archaeological dig, but I just feel like the sooner I can figure out what this is, the sooner I can focus on other things, because right now I'm very curious as to what it'll be. See him sailing up there, and our governor has gained a level, which will help the planetary business there. So as you can see, we have a breakthrough chance, which is at negative 40%, so we're not going to break through on our first roll. What happens is the game rolls, at the end of this timer, it'll roll a d10, a dice with 10 sides, and it'll subtract the difficulty, so it'll be a -3, and it'll add the skill of our scientist, which is 2. So right now we're subtracting 1 total from our roll. And then it'll go based on that. You can see it has roll outcomes. And what it's saying is that if you get a 5 or less, you get 0 clues. Between 6 and 10, you get 1 clue. 11 to 13, you get 2 clues. And at 14, you finish the chapter.
System survey complete.
So right there, the first roll was a 0. So he rolled a 1, -1, and you get 0. Which means he gets no clues, which means it'll take a while. So unfortunately, when things are like this, it can take quite a while. It takes him a set amount of time, but he does it 25% faster, which is why I chose him to do this. Go ahead and we'll pause it here real quick. Actually, no, we'll let it run because this will be quick. Mass extinction burned planet. Okay, so we moved into the area with the burned planet for our mass extinction event. One of the planets orbiting the star bears the still open wounds of some past calamity. Its surface is a roiling sea of half-melted minerals boiling into a superheated atmosphere. But Juggerbird astronomers claim that it may once have supported life. Special project has been issued, so that'll just be
updated.
Special projects are not anomalies or just normal surveys. They're their own thing, and you have to command ships to do them specifically. So let's go ahead. We'll take this tradition right here. It'll increase our research alternatives and increase the level cap of our scientists, allowing them to reach new heights. Oh, everything's going off right now. The First League. We have recovered artifacts from an ancient alien civilization on SL9-8000, or 800. Only 3 zeros. If what we have learned from these artifacts is correct, the civilization was some sort of confederation that consisted of many different alien races. They called themselves the First League, and appeared to have coexisted in relative peace for some 2 million years. Oh, in relative peace some 2 million years ago. Though the Foro system lies in the region of space that seems to have made up the core of their territory, a partial map found among the artifacts indicates that the First League may have covered a significant portion of our galaxy before its eventual collapse. So this gives us our precursor event chain.
Situation log update.
Okay, so we'll pause it because a couple things have happened. So, what was I talking about before that? We're still looking at this a little bit. So, essentially, archaeological digs, they go in chapters. So right now we're on chapter 1, which is what I've read to you already. It's just the basics. It's why you're here. what you see from the surface that makes you want to come and do this. You can see you roll the dice, you add and subtract your bonuses here. Getting clues adds to your total. So by rolling a 6 to a 10, you get 1 clue. Suddenly you're adding 1 to the end there, so it'd be a break even for us. It'd just be whatever the die rolls. So in the long run, it'll take a while, but it can move faster if you roll an 11 to a 13, which we can't right now because of our -1. You get 2 clues. So it will eventually add up and steamroll to get to the point where you can't roll anything but a 14 and you'll finish this. So it can take a long time, but if you're lucky, it won't. Next up, our construction ship has claimed this sector, so we can tell them to build the mining stations. It'll be 2 to get a total of 4. And if you press Alt, you can see what resources you've collected or mined versus ones you haven't. And they're also colored green if you're collecting them, and white if you're not. So we can come down here, and we can see we have the special project. It'll take 60 days to research it. So let's have them start that, and then afterwards, they'll survey the system. And that's just using the shift commands to kind of stack orders, which is really helpful. Once our construction ship has built the mining stations in Nakam, they'll move to Lurzaman and expand our nation that way. You can see our situation log has updated with the precursors quest chain. It's asking us to find First League artifacts. So essentially, we may be surveying a planet and we'll get a really difficult anomaly, and it'll relate back to the precursors. And once we find 6 of them, there are other ways to get them, but once we find 6, thank you. Once we find 6, then we'll have finished this, and we'll be able to find their home planet, which is a very helpful planet and gives us quite a few benefits. So we've completed our special research project here for the molten planet. The unfortunate fate of the planet can be laid squarely at the feet of cosmic whims. Some gravitational disturbance. After eyeing the system's sun with some suspicion, I think there should be a second E there, our scientists named a transient space-time anomaly as the likely culprit. Forced the planet from its natural orbit to one much too close to the sun. Although the planet is slowly spiraling out towards the original orbit, it has been cooking in the residual heat of the star ever since. So basically what they're saying, something pushed this planet a little too close to the sun, it melted, and now that it's going back out, that's great, but it melted. So if it did support life, it doesn't anymore. You can see he's made 3 rolls now. We have gained a clue with a roll of an 8. Our most recent roll was a 2, where we just rolled a 2. So this is a small complaint, I guess. It's a small portion of the game. It's extra DLC to get these, but it's random chance. It's just the computer rolling a dice, randomly generating a number between 1 and 10. You have some pluses and minuses that kind of help, and you just kind of hope that it doesn't give you 4 1s in a row, and that's fine, I guess. Sometimes you get really happy and you roll, 4 10s in a row and you're done. Or you can roll a 10 right there, I guess, and finish it as I say that. So, oh no, I guess not. So, this is an event that happens. Let's go ahead and pause here so I can read this. Our archaeologists working on Troydom 2 have reached a highly unstable section of the ruins. Great. Supports will have to be carefully added to the floors and ceilings before we can proceed. It will be difficult work, but finding an alternative route would delay the project. So I can say safety first, add 3 clues, and pay 100 energy, which sounds pretty good. Or they'll have to go around, which reduces our clues by 2. So let's stabilize the ruins. We have the energy. Adding clues will be helpful. So now our breakthrough chance is just at 0, because we're adding 3, and the max roll is 10. Last time we apparently rolled a 5, and that means things happened. We can go ahead and we can play here. I don't know, I love this game. It just has some small quirks, I guess. And if I have to really nitpick to find things wrong with it, that's usually a good indication of how good a game is. When you're really struggling to find problems with it. Let's see, I think we could support maybe even a third science vessel here, third income. So I think we'll go ahead and we'll start building one. Now, again, just to try and expand a little bit, late game they're not as helpful.
Anomaly found.
Ooh, anomaly. Some kind of
Construction complete.
Okay, I get it. Some kind of unknown structures are floating about this gas giant. Yeah, go ahead and research it. You're level 2 now, so it'll take less time than previously. And then he's constructed his final mining station there, so go ahead and we'll claim that. So when you claim a sector, it uses influence and alloys. Alloys to build the station, influence I assume to make a claim. And so we rolled a 6. Well, we rolled a 3, and the total came to 6, which gave us a clue. So now it is possible, because we're adding 4 after we do a bunch of math, which this is also kind of an issue I have, where it's like they give you 3 separate numbers. You have to kind of assume that because this one's colored, it's negative. And if you mouse over it, you can't really see, so you have to wait for a roll. And you can see there's a bunch of random numbers on the screen saying roll, clues, skill bonus, difficulty. So the readability exists, but it's not explicit, and it's not a easy to do number of just saying, oh yes, you know, it doesn't total them for you in a way that makes sense, I guess. It just gives you the result, and then all of the different numbers involved, and says, here, you figure it out. Alright, so we completed that anomaly research. A ruined network of aerostat colonies dating back at least 3 millennia can be found in low orbit of this gas giant. The original function appears to have been gas mining, but they have since been abandoned and reoccupied by many different races and pirate groups. The colonies have been thoroughly stripped of anything even remotely valuable, but the mere fact that they are still aloft after all this time makes them an interesting subject of engineering research. Fascinating. That adds engineering research. Yeah, again, this is a portion of the game that has great story, but it's all random to get it, and it's sort of a chore. You just have to kind of just sit here waiting for numbers to generate while you're not really watching it because you don't really care. Let's go ahead and we'll recruit a new scientist to put on our vessel, and we'll send them off this way. Survey that system, and then we can send them over there to get that. It'll be great. Work through this. So again, that's just a small gripe I have after the new origins that seem specifically geared towards anything that's not a hive mind or a machine consciousness, because he's, you know, if you're not, you know, if you want to be a devouring swarm and you don't really want to care about a tree of life because you just want to eat everything, it's kind of hard to find a specific, you know, origin that's not just, we came together peacefully as our hive mind. So it's a little bit tricky there. Maybe they'll add more later, but we'll see. But on that positive note there, we shall, I think we're going to be ending the episode there. Honestly, I'm not quite sure how long this episode will be. We'll see. The goal is an hour. It may be longer or shorter. Yeah, so that's kind of Stellaris as it is. I really enjoy this game. I do. I know I've been complaining for the past 10 minutes, but realistically, it's quite a fun game. So, if you watched this far, thank you so much. and I'll see you next time.